All right, today we're cracking open the Shahnameh, the incredible Persian Book of Kings. Now, this isn't just any old book. It's a 1,000-year-old epic, and it's filled with these absolutely breathtaking miniature paintings. And inside it, we find one of the world's greatest stories about the age-old fight between tyranny and justice.
So, how is a monster made? It's a huge question, right? We usually think of monsters as, well, born evil, just bursting out of the darkness. But this ancient story from the poet Ferdowsi, it throws a curveball. It suggests something way more chilling, that monsters aren't born, they're made. Step by painful step, through choices, through ambition.
So, our story doesn't kick off with some fire-breathing dragon. Nope, it starts with a man. This guy you see here, that's Zahhak. He's a prince, and he's ambitious. Maybe a little too ambitious. Ferdowsi, the poet, gives us this incredible insight. He says Zahhak is someone who has not benefited from love. Just think about that. He's got this void inside him, and he's desperate to fill it with the only things he thinks will work: power and status.
All right, Section 1, The Serpent King's Rise. This is all about his seduction by evil, because that emptiness inside Zahhak, it makes him the perfect target, the perfect prey, really, for Ahriman, who's basically the embodiment of evil in this story. He shows up using the name Iblis. And this isn't going to be some big, epic battle with armies clashing. Oh no, this is way more personal. It's the slow, quiet, methodical corruption of a single human soul.
And what's so fascinating is how Ferdowsi breaks this down. It's not a sudden switch. It's a three-step process, a total devil's bargain. First up, the pledge. Iblis, disguised as some wise old sage, comes to Zahhak and is like, hey, I can give you everything you want. You just have to pledge total allegiance to me. And Zahhak does it. He gives up his free will. Then, step 2 gets even darker, patricide. Iblis convinces him to kill his own father, a good, God-fearing man, just to grab the throne. And finally, the really weird one, the deceptive kiss. Iblis disguises himself as a royal chef and starts feeding Zahhak meat, something new and exotic, which literally makes him bloodthirsty. It awakens a craving in him.
So for all this amazing food, what does Iblis want in return? Not gold, not power, just a kiss. A kiss on each of Zahhak's shoulders. Weird, right? Zahhak agrees, Iblis kisses him, and then poof, he vanishes. And right from those spots, 2 ravenous black serpents sprout out of his shoulders. And just look at this incredible miniature from the great Shahnameh of Shahnameh. You can see the horror on Zahhak's face. This is it. This is the moment he's physically marked by his own tyranny, his inner corruption made visible for everyone to see.
So now he's got snakes growing out of his shoulders. What do you do? Well, Iblis conveniently shows back up, this time disguised as a doctor, and his prescription? It's horrifying. He says the only way to calm the snakes, to stop them from eating Zahhak himself, is to feed them. And their diet? A stew made from 2 human brains, every single day. So you see, these snakes, they're not just a personal curse anymore. They become the engine of his tyranny. Their hunger is what fuels a 1,000-year reign of absolute terror.
All right, Section 2. A hero is foretold. Just when things look their absolute darkest, when Zahhak's tyranny has basically swallowed the whole world, a prophecy starts to bubble up, a tiny glimmer of hope for a people who have none left. A prophecy that says the tyrant's end is coming.
And here's the crazy part. The first person to hear about this is Zahhak himself. He's plagued by this terrifying nightmare. He dreams of a young warrior armed with this ox-headed mace who just completely overpowers him and chains him up. He wakes up screaming, calls in his scholars, and they, terrified, tell him what it means. The dream is real. It's a vision of his own downfall, and the man who will do it is named Fereydun.
And get this, Fereydun's story is literally forged in the fire of Zahhak's cruelty. His own father, a man named Abdin, becomes food for those snakes. So his mother, Fereydun, knows she has to do something to save her son. She flees with him, hides him away deep in the Alborz Mountains, raising him in secret. He's completely off the grid, destined to one day come back and restore justice to the world.
Okay, Section 3, The Blacksmith's Banner. This is the spark of rebellion. See, having a foretold hero is great and all, but it's not enough to topple a 1,000-year empire of fear. For a real revolution to catch fire, you need a spark. And that spark has to come from the people, from one ordinary person showing extraordinary courage.
And that person is Kaveh. He's a blacksmith, and he's a man who has had his heart ripped out again and again. 17 of his sons have been murdered to feed Zahhak's snakes. 17. So when they come for his last and final son, he's had enough. He doesn't just grieve, he storms right into the tyrant's court and just unleashes all of his pain and rage. He speaks truth to power in a way nobody has dared to do for centuries.
But his defiance, it goes even further. Zahhak, probably stunned, actually releases his son. But then he makes a mistake. He orders Kaveh to sign this document, this piece of propaganda, declaring Zahhak a just and fair king. And Kaveh, he doesn't just refuse. He takes the document, rips it to shreds in front of everyone, storms out of the palace, and does something incredible. He takes his own leather apron, the tool of his trade, and hoists it onto a spear.
And just like that, this humble, everyday object, a dirty blacksmith's apron, is transformed. It becomes the Darafsh Kavieni, the legendary banner of rebellion. It's his powerful, enduring symbol of a popular uprising, a sign that the people have had enough and are finally ready to fight for their own freedom.
Section 4. The Tyrant's Downfall. The Final Confrontation. Okay, so now we have a symbol, people rally to Kaveh's banner, and they march together to find the hero they were promised, Fereydun. And now, with an army at his back, an army forged from grief and righteous anger, Fereydun is finally ready to face the Serpent King.
And there he is, Fereydun, holding that same ox-headed mace from Zahhak's nightmare. He leads the charge on the capital. But this isn't a bloody conquest. He comes as a liberator, and the people of the city welcome him. The fortress of evil falls with barely a fight.
Now, Zahhak hears that his prisoners have been freed, that this Fereydun is sitting on his throne, and he absolutely loses it. He rushes back to his palace, and there, it happens. The two finally meet face to face. Fereydun raises his mace and brings it down on Zahhak's head, shattering his helmet. The fated blow. It happens exactly like the dream foretold.
But wait, just as Fereydun is about to finish him off, to deliver that final killing blow, a voice, an angel, stops him. It says, "Do not kill him, his time has not yet come." And you have to ask, why? Why let this monster live after 1,000 years of pure terror?
Fereydun listens. He follows the command. He binds Zahhak in heavy chains and drags him to the highest peak in the land, Mount Damavand, and imprisons him deep inside a dark cave. And the story here is telling us something so profound. It's suggesting that this kind of evil, this fundamental darkness, it can't ever be truly killed. You can't just erase it from the world, but you can contain it. You can chain it up and deactivate it.
Section 5. The Legend's Echo. So, let's step back for a second. Why does this story, 1,000 years old and captured in these stunning paintings, still resonate so much today? What's the big takeaway here?
Well, it's because this is way more than just some ancient myth about a snake king. It's a timeless lesson, right? It's about how easily ambition can curdle into corruption. It's about that never-ending struggle between justice and tyranny. And, maybe most importantly, it's a story about the incredible, world-changing power that one ordinary person, like a blacksmith named Kaveh, can have.
And you know, Ferdowsi, the poet, he basically hands us the key at the end. He writes, "Glorious Fereydun was not an angel. Through justice and generosity he found virtue. If you practice these values, then you too are Fereydun." He's telling us straight up, Fereydun isn't some magical demigod. Fereydun is a title. It's something you earn through your actions, through justice, through generosity. It's something any of us can be.
And that really leaves us with this final, powerful idea, doesn't it? This epic is telling us that the fight against Zahhak, both the tyrants out there in the world and the potential for tyranny inside ourselves, it's never really over. It's a battle that repeats, generation after generation, always waiting for new heroes to find the courage to tear up an unjust piece of paper and raise their own banner of rebellion.